Hey guys, Meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this Monday mountain weather update. We've got another powder day on our hands. This is a steamboat up in northern Colorado, and as expected, it just kept snowing up there. Reporting another 7, 8, 9 inches in the last 24 hours. I mean, you can see their storm total, that big pillow of snow off to the right there. I mean, we're up at like 27, 28 inches from the last time they cleared this, and there's more snow in my forecast. We've still got some leftover snow with the current storm, and then another one coming in behind it. Let me take you up to Big Sky. This is the Lone Peak Tram Camp. It's going to be a powder day up there. 9 inches of new snow in the last 24 hours. Solitude over in Big Cottonwood Canyon. You picked up some new snow over the last 24 hours. And Jackson Hole, another foot of snow in the last 24 hours. A big powder day in Jackson Hole. I mean, it's been like this every single day for the last 3, 4, 5 days up at Jackson Hole. I mean, and I've still got quite a bit of snow in my Jackson Hole Teton forecast. So we'll look at all that coming up. I kind of want to show you where we stand. I just did a random selection of some resorts in no particular order so far for the season. This is how much snow these places have received, like Mount Rose, 250 inches. Of course, the last atmospheric river really helped a lot of these Tahoe resorts, and Mammoth as well. Mammoth 188. Alta's at 319, really doing well. Jackson Hole's at 307, so right on the heels of Alta. Steamboat 225, very nice. This has been a great storm cycle for Steamboat. Aspen Highlands at 220. Thanks to the guys over at aspenweather.net for that information about Aspen and Snowmass, Buttermilk, all those resorts up there in Pitkin County. Solitude 233. And Breckenridge right there at 214. This has been a good flow for Breckenridge as well. All right, here are my bullet points. So the storm system we currently have will continue through 218. So for another day, a lot of these Intermountain resorts. Then the next storm system comes in from the Pacific Northwest, 219, 220, kind of trickling into 221. It'll kind of come out of the Pacific Northwest and run down into the interior. And then behind that, the flow kind of shifts up to the Pacific Northwest and BC, and it looks like a pretty moist flow for the Pacific Northwest, Washington State in particular, Oregon, BC, the coastal range, and the interior. 220 through 223. All right, here's my snow timeline. Best odds of snow for Big Sky, the Wasatch, Tetons, Colorado, interior BC, the Pacific Northwest, Tahoe, and the Northeast. Lots of dates here. For example, in the Wasatch, you've got moderate snow continuing today, moderate accumulations on top of what you've already got. And then light to moderate coming in 219, 220 with that final storm system. In the Tetons, heavy today, moderate tomorrow, and then heavy again, 219 into 220. So quite a bit of additional snow coming. Colorado, you've got some moderate accumulations this afternoon, tonight, and then some light additional 219, 220. You can see the other dates. And in particular, I want to highlight interior BC and the Pacific Northwest between 222 and 224. That's going to be a very rich flow. All right, let's drill down on Alta, Utah. So this is the forecast mediogram, effective about 9,000 feet. This model still delivers some additional accumulation this afternoon, tonight, and then a bigger shot coming in with that final storm, 219, 220, and this accumulates potentially another 16, 17 inches on top of what you've already got. So we're still looking good. We've still got some powder days ahead for Alta, Snowbird, Solitude, Brighton, Park City, Powder Mountain, all those guys up there. Now look at the winds, 30 to 35, and then they're a little bit gustier with that final storm, 30 to 35, 40 miles per hour. High temps today about 22 up there. Colder tomorrow, only in the teens, and then it warms up a bit there on the 19th and the 20th. Okay, again, that's Alta. Let's go to Wyoming. This is that Jenny Lake corridor up there, and this is effective about 86, 8,700 feet. So you're looking at Jenny Lake, and this is anywhere from that Jackson Hole ski area all the way up to the north side of the Grand Teton. And this just continues to deliver snow all the way through. Let's see, today, tomorrow, and there comes the final storm, 19 into early 20, with potentially another 20 to 24 inches of accumulation. Winds remain gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour throughout. High temps today up there at about 19 at about 86, 8,700 feet. Tomorrow's colder in the teens, and then it warms up a little bit on 19 and 20. So lots of snow. Okay, let's take a look at the Jetstream forecast. So this is, we'll start this at a lunchtime today. And on this, these are the steering winds up at about 30,000 feet jet stream level. So this is what's really steering the storm systems from west to east. And I'm looking for the brighter colors, the oranges, the reds, the tans. Now, up in the Pacific Northwest, you can see that is our storm system. You can see the dip in the jet, and it's rolling down through Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. Okay, they're late today. Here's early on the 18th, storm sliding through Colorado and out. Becomes another storm for the Midwest, the East Coast, and the Northeast. Everything's kind of moving from west to east. There's late on the 18th. Here is late on the 19th. Now, late on the 19th, you can definitely see the final storm. Look at the big dip in the jet across the Pacific Northwest, the West, interior BC, Montana, Idaho, Nevada, moving into Wyoming and Utah, and eventually it's going to slide through Colorado. And there it goes. So there's late on the 20th. Then it slides out into the plains, becomes another storm for the Midwest and the East. Now, at this point, the flow is really going to start to favor the Pacific Northwest and BC. You can kind of see that's where all the bright colors are up there. And there's late Sunday, February 23rd. It's all being directed up into that area. There's early on the 24th. Still happening. Pretty big storm through the Ohio Valley and the East Coast. Everything's kind of dropping down into that area. Okay, let's take a look at the forecast snow accumulation over time. So on this map, we'll start at lunchtime today. The light blues are going to correspond to light snow accumulations under 3 inches. The greens are going to be 3 to 6, yellows are going to be 6 plus, and the reds, when you see those, are 10 plus. So at lunchtime today, you've still got snow in the central and northern mountains of Colorado, the Wasatch, Tetons, Montana, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. Okay, there's late today, still in many of the same places. And then that storm moves out. That's late on Tuesday, the 18th, moves out into the Midwest. And like I said, it becomes a storm for the East after that. All right, here's our final storm system. So there's late on the 19th. There's early and lunch on the 20th. Snow dropping down from the Pacific Northwest into the interior. And then it moves out. And then after this, the flow shifts up to the Pacific Northwest. You can see the bright colors are up there. Washington State, a lot of the coastal range of BC and the interior, and some of that will drop down into Sunshine, Banff, and Marmot Basin. Here we are late on the 22nd. There's lunch on the 23rd. Flow continues to favor that same area. Here's early on the 24th. Some of it drops down into the Tetons. And the flow just continues to favor a lot of the Pacific Northwest through the 25th of February. All right, my official forecast numbers. All of today through the 23rd, we'll start in the Wasatch, and I'm thinking up to 14 inches there for Solitude, Brighton, Alta, and Snowbird. And then less as you go up towards Park City, Deer Valley, Snow Basin, and Powder Mountain. Tetons, you still potentially could pick up 20 to 24 inches of additional accumulation on top of what you've already got. So powder days ahead up there for sure. 12 to 13 over a lot of Montana, but more potentially up near Whitefish where that flow is going to spill over more often. And that's the effect in Schweitzer as well. That's why I put Schweitzer at 20 or more in line and more targeted. And 14 there for Brundage, less in Sun Valley. But the numbers for interior BC are still looking good. 18 to 24 inches. Anywhere from 1 to 3 feet up there in the Pacific Northwest. Washington State, Whistler down towards Oregon, and then less, of course, in California. There's really only one additional chance for California of snow. In Colorado, most of the big numbers are in the central and northern mountains, and it's kind of a west-northwest flow that kind of drops into that area and delivers residual snow with these final 2 storm systems. So we could see a foot along I-70 in the Summit County and more up around Steamboat. So in southern Colorado, 3 to 6, 3 to 7, something like that, including northern New Mexico through the 23rd. All right, in the Northeast, there's some residual snow. It looked like there might be a big storm system during this period, but now it's staying to the south, so it's going to miss a lot of this area. So really kind of a light snow pattern here, 3 to 4, 3 to 5 inches for Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Nothing big. A little residual lake effect off Ontario, but otherwise that's probably going to do it. All right, guys, we're going to end on the big western map here. Again, all of today through the 23rd, still some powder days and some bullseyes there, the Tetons, parts of Colorado, the Wasatch, and then eventually the pattern late in the period will shift and really favor the Pacific Northwest and BC. Guys, thanks for tuning in here. Take care. Have a great day. Thanks as always.